Good morning, dear students. In today's class, we are going to see Unit 2. The title of Unit 2 is Transmission Characteristics of Optical Fiber. So, in this unit, we are going to see what happens to the optical pulses when they propagate through an optical fiber. And also in this chapter, we will concentrate only on multimode fiber, and we'll see what happens to the pulses. And now I will start with these transmission characteristics of an optical fiber, and we'll concentrate on attenuation of the signal. So let us see the outline of content of this presentation. We are going to cover attenuation of signal, dB and dBm units, loss mechanism in fused silica glass fiber, various communication band. So in order to communicate or in order to understand attenuation of signal and do calculations, particular units, dB and dBm units are very important. So we are going to look into these units. Then what are the losses mechanism is fused in silica glass fiber, and at what wavelength the silica glass fiber, and at what wavelength you have a lowest loss, what are the various communication band, and what are the future system we are looking at. So these things will going to see in this class. So here the two major communication issues are, one is attenuation and another one is dispersions. So first the attenuation, when the signal is traveling towards over a long distance, here this is our input, right? So the amplitude of this signal is reduces and will be looking like this. So this type of output is represented as, the loss is called attenuation loss. When we are giving the input like this and it is transmitted to you over a long distance, and here we will getting the output like the pulse broadening. So this type of signal is said as dispersion or broadening of pulses. So here we have two major issues. One is attenuation and dispersion. Attenuation is reduces in amplitude size and dispersion is broadening the pulses. So here doing this, seeing this data transmission at the propagation of optical pulses through an optical fiber. If I have my data encoded in a pulse train or optical pulse train, a sequence of, here we have the input a sequence of zeros and ones, and when I send this pulse train through an optical fiber, then at the output end the shape of the pulses become like this, like some broadening or overlapping. But what I've noticed here is the amplitude of these pulses, the power level of these pulses, it goes down, and at the same time the duration of pulses increases. Here the duration is very small, right? Here while seeing this output of pulse train, here the duration is somewhat broader. So when I send these pulses through this optical fiber, the pulse become like this. Then I have to pay attention, right? So we have to pay some attention, that I have to take care of that these pulses do not overlap. And also the power level of these pulses should remain at such a level that optical detectors should be able to detect them. Otherwise it will lose the information. So before these pulses are overlapped or their power levels go down to beyond a certain limit, we have to reshape these pulses. So we have to bring them into their original form, and this is done in a device is known as repeater. Right? So we know the repeater used to amplify our signal. So in a communication link, you send pulses through an optical fiber, and then after a certain distance, we have to reshape the pulses and bring them to their original form, and then we again send these to the next segment and then to the next segment and so on. If here L is the repeater length of the link, then the repeater length of the link for a given data depends upon two things. One is how much the pulse have attenuated, and what is the spread of here we have the pulse spreading, right? So what is the spread of these pulses, or what is the broadening in these pulses, so they do not overlap, right? So next we can see what do you mean by attenuation. Actually, the signal transmitting through the fiber is degraded by two mechanisms. Already we know one is attenuation and another one is dispersion. So both are important to determine the transmission characteristics of the fiber at operating wavelength. So now we can see what do you mean by attenuation. The most important characteristics of the cable is the power loss. This power loss is called as attenuation. So it is used to determine the maximum transmission distance between a transmitter and a receiver. Here this is our transmitter and this is our receiver. So maximum transmission distance between the receiver, transmitter receiver is called as attenuation. So the power loss in the fiber cable is defined as the ratio of input, that is transmitted power, into a fiber to the output, that is received optical power from the fiber. So here this power can be represented in terms of a decibel. So the number of decibel, that is this A denote the attenuation, is equal to 10 log of Pi divided by P naught. So where this value of A in dB is nothing but total reduction in power level, that is attenuation. And here we have P naught. So P naught is the cable attenuation of output power. It can be represented in terms of watts, and Pi is the cable attenuation input power. So again, here in optical fiber communication, the attenuation is usually expressed in decibel per unit length, that is dB per kilometer. So the loss coefficient is given as per unit length. It can be represented as alpha dBl is equal to, right? So here the attenuation can be represented as alpha, and here the distance between the power input power and output power is L. So from this alpha dB into L is equal to 10 log of, we know the definition, from the definition we know the formula to find out attenuation is equal to Pi divided by P naught. So 10 log to the base 10 to Pi divided by P naught. So by cross multiplying this value, because we have to find out the value of attenuation. So here this alpha dB represents the signal attenuation and L is the fiber length. So again here we have, by cross multiplying this value, we will get this L can be written here. So alpha dB is equal to 10 divided by L into log of to the base 10 to Pi divided by P naught. So this is the formula to find out the attenuation value per unit length. Then we can see about the dB and dB units. So it would be nice to have a conversion from linear to dB units, right? So if P naught over, that is, here we have the value of Pi, right? If Pi over P naught is 1, so the ratio between Pi divided by P naught is equal to 1, then there is no loss. The loss is 0 dB. So if it is a factor of 10, here we have the PID, the ratio between these two values is equal to 10. So if it is a factor of 10, then it is 10 dB. And if it is a factor of 100 means the loss in dB is 20. And if a factor of 1000 means it will be in 30 dB. So this is the power can be represented in terms of dB. So now we can see about the dBm units. So to facilitate calculation, it is also convenient if we represent power in terms of dB units. So but we know dB units involve log, and we can take log of only a ratio. So how could I represent power which is in millivolt or power in watt into dB? For that we have to take a reference value. So for example, if we take reference of 1 millivolt, here I have taken the reference as 1 milliwatt. So if I say that P naught is the reference as 1 milliwatt, then whatever the power I want to represent in dBm, that can take with reference to this value. So here the value of, so I have to find out some power in terms of dBm means, so 10 log of So P divided by this 1 milliwatt. So which power we have to calculate, divided by, we have taking this as a reference as 1 milliwatt. And this is the conversion. If the power is 1 milliwatt, then it is basically a, so here if the power is 1 milliwatt means we are substituting the value of 1 milliwatt, 1 milliwatt, 1 milliwatt get cancelled. So we will get 10 log to the base 10 to 1. So log 1 value will be equal to 0. So then for the ratio, for here the power of 1 milliwatt, we will be getting a value as 0 dBm. But for 10 milliwatt, here we have taking this power as 10 milliwatt of power, and for this we will be getting 10 dm, and for 100 milliwatt power is represented in terms of 20 dBm, and for 1000 it is represented as 30 dBm. So similarly, if we go below 1 milliwatt, so let us say I have a 0.1 milliwatt power, then it is represented as, by substituting that value of P is equal to 0.1 milliwatt, which is less than 1. So by substituting this value, we will be getting the power as minus 10 dBm. So in this way, we will represent power and using dB units and dBm units. The calculation become very easy. So for example, if we can represent the loss by simply loss of dB, we know for attenuation will be equal to 10 log of PA divided by P naught. So for a multiplication will be very, for the division we have to take this subtraction. So logarithmic term can be easily, we can convert into this addition and subtraction. So for loss of dB, we can write the value as P in of dBm minus of P naught of dBm. Next we have going to see about the loss in glass. So now let us look at this loss in glass. So how the transmission in glass evolved over a time. So here I have plotted the optical losses in dB per kilometer with the time. So this time is nothing but years, right? It was taken. It has been taken for the years. If we look at this Egyptian age, around 300 BC, the loss in the glass was something like 10 to the power 7 per dB per kilometer. So when we come down to Ventian age, then the loss is about 10 to the power 5. Here it is represented as 10 to the power 5. Here the glass was almost opaque. If we look around the late 60s or mid 60s, the loss was around 100 dB per kilometer. Here the loss was around 100 dB per kilometer. So here now you can see the optical fiber came up low loss optical fiber. This is the point representing in 1970s the fiber produced by Corning glasses work, which having a loss of 16 dB, right? It is in this place, so it will be having the loss of 16 dB per kilometer. And then you can see here we can see a sharp fall from 1966 to 1977, right, or 79. Within 13 years, we can see how much advancement have been done and how much attenuation could be brought down in an optical fiber, and how we have an optical fiber which now we have an optical fiber which has a loss of 0.2 dB per kilometer. At present, we have the loss of 0.2 dB per kilometer. And if you look at the spectral loss variation in fused silica glass fiber, it looks like this. In the spectral loss of 2.2 kilometer single mode fiber with a core diameter of 9.4 micrometer and about 0.2% relative index difference. This shows the spectral loss with a 2.2 kilometer single mode fiber with a core diameter. Here the core diameter is 9.4 micrometer and the relative refractive index difference is 0.2%. So now we can see the loss mechanism. Basically, the attenuation mechanism in a fiber are absorption, scattering and radiative losses of optical energy. So here the absorption is related to fiber material and scattering are due to fiber material with the structural imperfections in the optical waveguide. Again, here we have the radiative losses. Here the radiative losses occurs whenever an optical fiber undergoes a bend. Both we can consider a microscopic or a macroscopic of finite radius of curvature. So next we can see the material absorption losses in silica glass fiber. So material absorption in a loss mechanism related to the material composition and the fabrication process of the fiber. So here, so this material absorption is a loss mechanism. So it is related to a material composition and the fabrication process of the fiber. So which results, when we are going for this fabrication process, it will result into a dissipation of some of the transmitted optical power as heat in the waveguide. So here we have three types of absorption losses. The first one is absorption by atomic defects in glass composition, and second one is intrinsic absorption, and third one is, here we have extrinsic absorption. So next we can see about the absorption by atomic defects. So atomic defects are imperfection in the atomic structure of the fiber materials, such as missing molecules, high density clusters of atom groups. So these absorption losses are negligible when compared to the intrinsic and extrinsic losses. Right? So we have three different mechanisms in absorption. The first one is absorption by atomic defects in glass composition, and second we have intrinsic and extrinsic absorption. So when compared to this extrinsic and intrinsic losses, it is the atomic defects are a negligible losses. So the absorption effect is most significant when the fiber is exposed to ionizing radiation in nuclear reactor, medical therapies, space missions, etc. So here the radiation damages the internal structure of the fiber. So due to here exposed to ionized, when the fiber is exposed to ionized radiation in the nuclear reactor, medical therapies, space missions, etc. Here the radiation damages the internal structure of the fiber. So these damages are proportional to the intensity of ionizing particles. So this result in increasing the attenuation due to atomic defects and absorption of optical energy. So here the total dose of material receives is expressed in radian for silicon. This is the unit for measuring the radiation absorbed in bulk silicon. So one radiation for the silicon is equal to, it is represented as 0.01 joule per kg. Here this for the unit is represented in terms of radian, and the value is equal to 0.01 joule per kg. So the next one is intrinsic absorption. So this intrinsic absorption occurs when material is in absolutely pure state, that is no density variation and inhomogeneities. So the intrinsic absorption sets the fundamental lower limit on absorption for any particular material. So here the intrinsic absorption results from atomic absorption. Here we have two major absorption. One is electronic absorption band in UV region, and from another one is atomic vibration bands in the near field infrared regions. So first we can see about the electronic absorption. Here the electronic absorptions are associated with the band gaps of amorphous glass materials. The absorption occurs when a photon interacts with the electron in the valence band and excites it to a higher energy level. So here the UV absorption decays exponentially with increasing the wavelength. So here the ultraviolet edge of absorption band of both crystalline and amorphous material follows the empirical relationship, that is alpha UV is equal to C into E exponential of E divided by E naught. So this equation is known as Urbach's rule. Here the value of C, here we have the C, right? So here the value of C and E naught are empirical constant. Here this E represent the photon energy. So here the UV absorption decays exponentially. Already I have told. So this UV absorption decays exponentially with increasing wavelength lambda. So here the ultraviolet loss at any wavelength can be expressed as alpha UV is equal to 154.2x divided by 46.6x plus 60 into 10 to the power minus 2 e power 4.63 divided by lambda. So where here we have the x, right? So this x represents mole fraction of germanium oxide, and here the lambda is an operating wavelength, and here we have the alpha UV. So alpha UV is represented in dB per kilometer. So here the alpha UV is represented in dB per kilometer. So next we can see about the atomic vibration. So in intrinsic absorption we have two. One is this electronic absorption, and another one is here we have atomic vibration. So in the IR infrared, IR, that is infrared region, will lies in 1.2 micrometer, right? So here the infrared region above 1.2 micrometer, the optical waveguide loss is determined by the presence of OH ion and inherent IR absorption of the materials. So here this inherent IR absorption is due to interaction between the vibrating band and the electromagnetic field of optical signal. So this results in transfer of energy from the field to the band. So thereby it will be giving rise to absorption. So this absorption is strong because of many bonds present in the fiber, right? So because of this many bonds present in the fiber, here the absorption get rises. So this here we have shown this figure, right? So this figure represents the attenuation spectra for the intrinsic loss mechanism in pure germanium. For this pure germanium, it is shown here. Here the loss in the infrared region above 1.2 micrometer, it is represented here, right? This value. So and the expression for this is given by alpha IR is equal to, so this IR represents the infrared. So this value is 7.81 into 10 to the power 11 e power minus 48.48 divided by lambda. So from where we have derived this expression means, so in germanium oxide and silicon oxide of the glass fiber. So from there we derived this expression, right? So next we can see about the intrinsic absorption. So in practical optical fiber prepared by conventional melting techniques. So how we can prepare this optical fiber means, so we have to melt the particles as a major, so this melting technique is a major source of signal attenuation in the extrinsic absorption from the transition metal element impurities and due to water dissolved in the glass. So this absorption is occurred due to two impurities. One is transition metal impurities and another one is OH ions. First we can see about the transition metal impurities. So here iron, cobalt, chromium, copper and nickel are the metal impurities. So in ultra low loss fiber from VAD method. VAD is nothing but wafer axial decomposition method. This is the method we will be melting the fiber. So in VAD method, the impurities level ranges from 1 to 10 parts per billion, that is PBB. So here the transition metal ion produce losses from 1 to 10 dB per kilometer. So this effect of metallic impurities can be reduced by how we can reduce these type of losses means by refining this technique, by glass refining techniques. right? So this transition metal impurities means, so here for this metal impurities we are using iron, cobalt, chromium, copper, nickel, etc. So in ultra low loss fiber from VAD method, the impurities level ranges from 1 to 10 parts per billion. So this transition metal ion produces losses from 1 to 10 dB per kilometer. So we have to reduce this effect. So how we can reduce this effect means by glass refining the technique. So the next method is OH ions. So OH means we know it's water. So this OH impurity results from a oxyhydrogen flame used for the hydrolysis reaction of the SiCl4, silicon chloride and germanium chloride. So this type of absorption is reduced by reducing the water content in the fiber. So in the melting process, this optical fiber is a glass type fiber, right? So we have to melt this and we have to dip into the water to cool the fiber. So at that time, so small bubbles like water content will be present in the fiber. So this type of absorption is reduced by reducing the water content present in the fiber around 1 ppb, that is 1 parts per billion. So due to this, single mode fibers have nominal attenuation of, here we have the attenuation of 0.5 dB per kilometer. Right here we have the attenuation of 0.5 dB per kilometer in 1300 nanometer and in 1500 nanometer window. So here we have shown three tones, right? So the first tone, second tone and third tone. So here in the absorption peak occurs at, here the attenuation will be occurs at the three peak points. One is 1400 nanometer, another one is 950 nanometer, and third one is around, here it is around 750 nanometer. So this figure shows the absorption spectrum of OH group in silica. Between these absorption, here we have three regions will shows the low attenuations, right? So here we have three regions shows the low attenuation, that is here we have that is 1300 nanometer, again here we have at 850 nanometer and 1150 nanometer. So here it will show low absorption. So these three windows we can use for this transmission of an optical signal. So that's all about today's class. Now let us summarize what are the topics we covered in today's classes. So we have learned what you mean by attenuation, what you mean by dispersion, and how we can convert from dB to dBm calculation, and different types of absorption losses in silica glass fiber. So hope you all understand. Thank you, students.